people handled it and foreign beat journalists demystified it for you. But it's no longer the case. And one saw it happening, one during COVID, when everybody wanted to know, why are we giving it to this country? Why not to that country? How much are we giving? Do we have enough? Then there was the CAA, there was the farmers' protest, there was Nupur. There was so much that was happening. How do you deal with this? It's like literally, that game that children play where you go on beating things. It was like that in that 2-year period. Was really tough.
No. I was smiling at the imagery you invoked. Now, look, in a globalized era, what happens is that everything from the world comes to India. Everything from India goes out. In many ways, it's a good thing. It has its own challenges. It has its own vulnerabilities. So how does it impact us? That's really your question.
Yeah.
What it does is, I have to often, as part of my narrative setting, explain things to foreign audiences. So I give you an example. Take this whole scaremongering that millions of people are going to lose citizenship. Now, you tell people saying that, look, this was said. Now, 1 year has passed, 2 years has passed, 3 years. Where are these people? After all, we are supposed to have a cataclysm in 2020. So, and when you, even citizenship, when you start reasoning with people, ask them saying, okay, tell me, do you not have a criteria of citizenship? Do you not use language? Or some people use religion. People use language, they use religion, they use education. Some of them even use income. Some use ethnicity. So when you tell people saying, look, reflect on your citizenship practice. I mean, what do you do? So often what happens is, and see, that's why the battle of narratives is very powerful. Read the bulk of international papers, especially the Anglosphere papers, but all of them. How many of them tell you 370 was a temporary provision? I challenge you to show me one.
Yeah.
They don't. It's written there in bold letters, in capital letters in the Constitution.
But then that's because India itself didn't put across that point of view,
No,
right?
no,
It's
hello,
like the plebiscite.
no,
It is true.
Sorry. Listen, I can put across something. If you have shut your ears to it, no amount of hammering away at it.
It's not. See, when Kashmir was being discussed, Pakistan used to keep saying plebiscite, plebiscite, plebiscite. Till the 90s, that word plebiscite kept hammering. It was, that it is a disputed issue. Till India's narrative started being heard. Unless you are loud and you impose your narrative, you don't get heard in the world.
No, I completely agree with you, Smita. So I try not to be loud. I try to get my narrative across in an elegant and effective way, maybe at times sharper than people may want. But I accept your point that we need to get our narrative across, and that is exactly what we are trying to do in foreign policy. But I also put it to you sometimes that I feel that I'm talking to an audience which is deliberately deaf, that they do not want to hear sometimes, they do not want to absorb sometimes. That and there is a very strong bias. I mean, let's be frank about it. Newspapers, there are newspapers, I don't want to go into names, who will publish something absolutely ridiculous on one side, and you say, okay, I want to counter it. They say, no, hang on a moment, I'm busy doing a fact check on what you are saying. So we saw this bias very, very clearly over the last 4 years. I think in fact, I expect it to, if anything, grow as the election comes closer, because I don't think, this is without a political direction and purpose.
So domestic politics playing a part.
Domestic politics, it could be domestic politics, it could be COVID, it could be, it could be different.
Big business playing its part also.
It could be. Look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Okay, what I'm explaining to you is actually politics at work.
Okay,
it doesn't have to be conspiracy at work. Okay. Why is it difficult to understand that there are ideologies and political forces outside India very similar to those in India, and the two are working hand in glove. I mean, I'm putting a perfectly common sense proposition before you. And part of the problem is when political forces in India are not doing so well electorally, they tend to kind of summon up this this support system, if you would, or the echo chamber, or call it what you would.
They are the Congress party is saying that that the Indian government is the Modi government is defensive, reactive when it comes to China. That neither Mr. Modi nor you even mention China. You just say eastern neighbor.
Hello, please. Then they must have some problem understanding words beginning with a C. Please look at everything I've said. That's not true.
And what about this thing that they say that almost 1,000 square kilometers has gone and the foreign minister is not facing facts, not telling us the truth in parliament?
No. Look, I think they are deliberately misrepresenting the situation. I give you two very specific examples of that. You remember that ho halla which happened on a bridge? You know, they were building a bridge in Pangong Tso.
Yeah.
When did that area actually come under Chinese control?
Yeah, I've seen that. You said that it is long back.
I'll tell you when it came. The Chinese first came there in 1958 and Chinese captured it in October 1962. Now you're going to blame Modi government in 2023 for constructing a bridge which the Chinese captured in 1962? And you don't have the honesty to say that is where it happened. Or let me give you another example. You know, these border villages. Now there were border villages which have come up in areas which the Chinese actually, you know, in Longju, there was a clash and it's not a secret, you know, at that time it was hotly debated in India, in the parliament, in the media. So what happens, you do the smoke and mirrors, you know, say, oh, there's something happening here. It's almost like 1962 never happened. It is like, you know, we should be, let me give you a very a different example. Everybody say, you know, we should be having our troops up there, we should be building border infrastructure. Hello, why didn't you build that border infrastructure? I just look at the budget of the border infrastructure. During the Modi period, the budget has gone up 5 times. You know, till 2014, roughly it was 3,000, 4,000 crores was the budget. Today it is 14,000 crores. If you look at the roads which are built, you look at the bridges that are built, they have doubled or tripled. You look at the tunnels which are taking place. I mean, this government is serious about border infrastructure. Whereas we know the underlying thinking earlier was, you know, let's leave it like that, then the Chinese can't come inside. Which meant you had no intention of contesting them when they came in. So, you know, I find it very thick that, you know, look, I don't think personally I would get into a blame game. You know, what happened in 62 happened. But if you now want to whitewash all that and say everything happened only in 2020, I have to call you out, no?
So you're fortifying the border, the boundary, India-China. So does that make China now the biggest threat to India? Are we in a state of a quasi-war-like situation, conflict-like situation?
No. Look,
where are we?
No. I first of all, I'm not using the word we are fortifying it. I think we are legitimately building our border infrastructure because they have built their border infrastructure. In my view, we should have done it 25 years ago.
Again, we are reactive, that means.
I mean,
Your words, Dr. Jaishankar.
No, not at all. Look, they are the bigger economy. I mean, what am I going to do? As a smaller economy, I'm going to go pick a fight with a bigger economy. It's not a question of reactive, it's a question of having common sense. So, secondly, please bear in mind one thing. We had an agreement that you're not supposed to bring military to the border in large numbers. So, by that logic of yours, I should be the first to break the agreement.
Why not?
No, why should I? Because it doesn't make... Look, please understand...
Why are we always the ones not breaking an agreement and it's always the other side breaking the agreement?
No, Smita, I think you need to sort of take a very...
non-aggressive...
considered view of this.
Okay.
we don't. Why do we reach agreements? We reach agreements because it is in our interest to stabilize a border or a situation. Okay, it's not out of love and affection and sentiment that you do. It's cold calculation and common sense. Okay.